Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a really hot and sticky day here in Central Florida. I mean, it's to be expected. Summer is officially here and that means things are gonna heat up. And so I figure today, let's do something a little bit different, do something kind of fun. I wanna ride all of the attractions at Walt Disney World as well as Universal that really shine during the summer months. You know, all the ones that sometimes people avoid because they get you wet and then you're uncomfortable, whatever. You know, all the things that the people who have forgotten how to have fun say. Yeah, I'm talking to you. All right, I'm kidding, kind of. Anyway, we're gonna ride all of these attractions today. We're gonna have a good time doing it. And yeah, we'll talk about what it's like to ride some of the wettest attractions at both of these parks, do a little bit of a review of each. I will say, just for those of you who are wondering, I haven't changed anything today. I'm wearing the same clothes I normally wear, carrying the same gear that I normally carry. Someone asked about shoes for riding these types of attractions. I got my Chucks on with my socks. I don't change it up, okay? You're not gonna get any wetter on these attractions than you will in a rainstorm here. And whenever I travel, I always bring a spare pair of shoes. Also, same makeup I normally wear, so we'll see how that holds up if we get drenched. The only change that I have made today is I'm carrying a dry bag. And that's because I'm taking you with me. Now, this is just a bag designed for getting very wet. I got this on Amazon, pretty cheap. I love these things. I do have my fanny pack in here, just because I do right now, but I'm carrying this for you because you're kind of expensive, just the truth. So I don't want you to get ruined when we're on these attractions, and so that's the adjustment that I have made. Generally speaking, I just put things like my cell phone in like a Ziploc bag and call it good, but you're too big for a Ziploc bag, so in the dry bag you go. Anyway, I think that's enough of an intro. We're starting our day off here at Animal Kingdom. If you haven't been able to guess already, we're hitting up Kali River Rapids. Let's get out of here. Have some fun. Now, if you're thinking about doing this attraction, one thing I think you really need to be aware of is that it does not open with the park. It opens at 9. So you might see a really long line out front. It's just people queued up for the attraction when it does open. We're walking on 5-minute wait. There was a really, really long line out front this morning, so don't let it scare you away. It just might be that the ride isn't open quite yet. Also, a little bit of proof for those of you who are wondering if I'm being perfectly honest about my shoes. There they are, the Chuck T's. They're gonna do the job. Don't worry about it. It'll be all good. All good. I'll tell you what though, this is such a beautiful queue. It's gorgeous. I love the theming here at Animal Kingdom. I know there are a lot of people who don't really love this park, but I think it's a great park. All right, it's almost time, so I'm gonna tuck you guys safely away, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I'm trying to think about how exactly I wanna rate these attractions that we're riding. Do we judge the squishability of the shoe scale? Do we talk about whether or not we could wring out our shirt? I should have asked you about this before today, but I didn't, and here we are. I feel like a good place to start would be to show you what I look like post-attraction. So I mean, how wet do I look? I don't feel super wet. My arm's a little wet. Shoes, 0 on the squish scale. Hair, I don't know if you can see it well because you're not in the light, but I'd call it kind of damp. Makeup, still fine. Even my butt's not that wet. Seriously. I will say that it definitely felt worth it to have this bag because I had it by my feet and it got soaked. Though, feet, no soakage. Not even a little bit damp on my feet. I mean, see for yourself. Nothing. I will say it was a nice way to start the day. It cooled me right off because I was already toasty. I had made my way into the park a little bit late and I was like skedaddling through the parking lot. So by the time I got over there and started talking to you, I was already like drippy and hot, and it's a drippy hot day today, like I said earlier. So it was nice to cool down first thing in the morning. Like I said, butt's not wet, feet aren't wet, nothing's wet. The most wet thing is this sleeve right here, and it's gonna dry off here in like 30 seconds in this sun. At the end of the day though, I liked it. It was a nice way to cool off, get the day started. The attraction is fun, but it's definitely not what it used to be. There were more effects. There was more of a storyline that was more obvious when you were riding the attraction. back in the day. Now it's just kind of a raft ride with some loose theming to illegal logging, but you know, that's a conversation for another day. We're here talking about water rides. We're getting wet. We're having fun. Hold on a second. Do you see that? I could have sworn that I just saw something behind this bush. Hold on a second. Let's take a closer look. Do you see that? It's another water ride. River Adventure here at Islands of Adventure. Who knew we'd find that in the bushes at Animal Kingdom? Weird. All right, let's go ride. Now I'll tell you what, this is my first time on this attraction. I'm super excited. We're gonna ride it together. I love riding things with you for the first time. It's gonna be a good one. But you know the drill, I gotta tuck you away so that you stay dry. We're almost there. You know, as far as water rides are concerned, that one was kind of underwhelming. I didn't really get wet. Got a little bit of wetness on my butt cheek, you know, when I sat down, but I wouldn't really call it like a water ride, you know? Was a lot of fun though. If you're a fan of Jurassic Park, I definitely think you have to do it. But I have a solution to the whole wetness thing. It's gotta cool off, you know? That'll do it. I mean, not really, I'm still not super wet, but a little cool. Next up though, you know where we're headed, especially if you're a fan of Universal. We're headed to the Piece de Resistance here at this park, or honestly, in any of the parks at Walt Disney World and Universal, and that is Toon Lagoon. I mean, there are some really, really exciting water rides here, and we're doing all of them today. First up, Dudley Do Rights. You know we gotta do it. I've been looking forward to this ride for so long, and today is the day. It's a 5-minute wait. Let's make our way over and jump on. Now, from what I understand here in Toon Lagoon, this is where we can expect to get soaked, not only here at this attraction, but also over on their raft ride here, which I'm really looking forward to. Let's not wait any longer. Let's jump on. This is another first for you and I today, which is really exciting. Lots of firsts today. I love that about Universal. There's still a lot of things that we have to explore. We have nothing but time, so we can really take our time and enjoy all of it together. It's a cool little queue. You guys, this queue is so cool. It's dark and air conditioned. This is really enjoyable. And look at how fun it is. Look. Minnesota. All right, you know the drill. It's time to tuck you away. I'll see you guys on the other side.
Evaporated milk.
You're telling jokes. That's a good one. I'll have to remember it for later. Anyway, I'm gonna tuck you away. See you on the other side. Stay dry, okay? Okay. Now that right there, that is a proper water ride. That attraction, that ride was buckets of not only water, but fun. Talk about a good way to cool off. Not only did you have AC kind of going into the attraction, because we did have that air-conditioned queue, but you were getting wet from every angle there. There was splashing water, dripping water. It was all over the place. It was a water ride, you know, a real water ride. Now, I will say, the state of things, soggy. Soggy is the word. My shorts are super soggy and wet. My t-shirt, super soggy, like wring it out, soggy. You can see the situation with the hair. I don't know what's going on with the makeup because I can't really see, and I don't really care. I'm just having a good time. Now, the next order of business is to make our way over to the Popeye ride, which doesn't open until 10. So we got like 15 more minutes before we can jump in that queue. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for Dudley Do Rights. I love that. All right, I just pulled off into the shade for a second. We're only a few minutes away from this area of the park opening. Again, it opens at 10. And I just wanted to say something because it's on my mind. If you're gonna be visiting Universal, you really wanna be aware of the times that different sections of the park opens, especially if you're going to take advantage of early park entry, because the whole park does not open for early park entry. But even when the park does open to day guests, there are sections of the park that don't open with the park. So over at Universal Studios, it's like Men in Black and the Simpsons area. This attraction is one of those areas. So it's just something to be aware of. You want to make note of. Of course, here at Universal, they don't have paper maps. So you need to have the Universal app in order to see these times, you know, like have access to these times with relative ease without having to wander this way. So anyway, just something to be aware of. I think this area is open now, so let's go jump in line. On the dot, we're making our way in. I will say this, Universal is fantastic when it comes to opening areas of the park on time. If they say it opens at 9, when your phone switches over to 9, boom, it's open. Unless, of course, it's delayed for whatever reason, but that's a completely different story. So this attraction is very similar to what we did earlier at Kali River Rapids. The boarding is even very similar with this rotating barge area, but it is definitely a more intense attraction from what I understand, and most definitely a wetter attraction. I'll be the judge of that, but for now, let's make our way through this queue, and we'll get you tucked away, hop on, have a great time, cool off on this toasty summer day. Get a better look at the ride vehicles right there, and that rotating barge, very similar to Kali River Rapids. Of course, we have some great theming in the queue as well. You will get soaking wet. I'm counting on it. Any of you Popeye fans? I love Popeye. Check that out. Great shot of Velocicoaster right there. Shaded queue, which is nice. Fans, which is nice. I like how Universal does this. I would love to see more of this over at Disney, but it's a conversation for another day. Picture spot. Oh, that's cool. All right, time to tuck you away. See you when we get out. Well, we have completely departed anything remotely close to dry. We are sopping wet, and I'm loving every second of it. This is exactly what theme parks are all about, you know, just kind of like letting loose, doing stuff that you normally wouldn't do, and like, this is it, you know? Now, that attraction, really cute. I really liked it. It was fun. It was kind of intense, but not too intense, which was nice. It was wet, which was great, especially, like I said, during the summer months when you need to cool off. This is how you do it. But yeah, just as kind of like a full overview, thoroughly drenched. And the shoes, can you see the water like seeping through these bad boys? Oh yeah. If we were using a soggy scale, this would be a 10 out of 10. I love this ride though. I can't get over how much fun it was. It was a ton of fun, and I'm nice and cool and ready to like take on the next thing, which at the moment is getting some water in me because it's hot and I've been like covered in water but not drinking enough of it. So let me pull out my cup, find a Coke Freestyle machine, and get some ice water. All right, we've been having a ton of fun today, but we have to talk a little bit of business because I know some of you who are here are planning your vacations and you probably want to know a few things. So let's cover some basics. First and foremost, both here at Universal Orlando as well as over at Walt Disney World, they do have kiosks outside of these water rides with some basic changes of clothes. Over at Animal Kingdom, where we were earlier, it's this little shop that sells like souvenirs from Yak and Yeti. It's between the Yak and Yeti quick service and the entrance for Kali River Rapids. Here, there's a few of them in Toon Lagoon where you can get towels and t-shirts and sundresses and stuff like that. So if you regret the decision to not bring a pack of clothes, you can get something here. The options range from fairly affordable to the price you'd expect to pay for other Universal souvenirs. Of course, at Walt Disney World, you can buy clothes from any other gift shop around the park as well if you're looking for a change of clothes that is something you would have purchased anyway. So just keep that in mind. Frankly, I think that if you want to do water rides specifically here at Universal, bringing a change of clothes isn't a bad idea, especially if you are very particular about certain things. You know, like if you really don't want your shoes wet and that's going to bother you all day long, bring yourself a set of flip-flops or whatever other shoes that you want to bring with you. Change out into them when you ride these attractions and change back into your shoes once you're done. The same could be said for any other garments. You know, you don't want to walk around with wet shorts all day. Bring a change of clothes. Even if you're bringing like swim trunks or something and you change out into them before you ride, once they've kind of dried off, you can change back out into whatever it is you're going to be most comfortable with for the rest of the day. That's a great option too. Like I always say, be creative, do what works best for you. Nearby each and every one of these attractions at both Walt Disney World and here at Universal, we do have lockers so you can put your stuff in a locker. You don't have to worry about it. We also have bathrooms so you can kind of collect yourself after you've ridden these attractions. Here at Universal, they also have these family dryers, which are big, giant cubes, like kind of like that. Have you guys ever seen those things where they like put a cat in it after they wash a cat and it blows air and everything like that to dry them off? Similar to that, only it doesn't close. We looked at these the other day. They're like $7. Quite frankly, if that's something that you want to do because it seems like fun, go for it. I don't think it's worth it, though I haven't tried it myself. But if you're going on these attractions to cool off, you know? I know some people really don't like walking around all day in damp clothes, but don't worry, you won't, because it's Florida and the sun is hot. It's gonna bake that water right off of you, and it's gonna keep you cool while it does. So I do think that that's something to keep in mind, especially for little ones. Maybe you wanna change out the bottoms or something like that because you're gonna be doing a lot of walking and that's gonna be a problem. But keeping on a wet t-shirt is really nice because it keeps you cool and it will dry off. Now, going back to cooling off, can I just say, Toon Lagoon takes the cake when it comes to great attractions to cool off, when it comes to water rides here between Walt Disney World and Universal. Now, I know some of you are gonna be like, hold on a second, like these are themed to Dudley Do-Right, to Popeye, does anyone even care? Honestly, they're done so well that I don't really think that it matters. If you're trying to follow the story, there's a cute little story there. If you're not, you're having a great time on the attraction, and I think that that's a great balance. Definitely contrary to what we see over at Walt Disney World with Kali River Rapids, where the theming is so loose that there's really no story there, and you're not really getting that wet. I mean, we got wet, but not really. You know? Anyway. But okay, now that we've talked about some of the things I think you need to know, here are some of my little tips and tricks for having a good time on water rides here at the theme parks, whether you're at Disney or Universal. Number one, have a way to protect your belongings. Like I showed you earlier, I have this dry bag. All of my belongings are in there. They have all been dry all day long, which has been fantastic. You haven't felt wet, have you? I hope not, because you didn't even get your hair wet. Number two, wear some tight-fitted clothes that are gonna prevent things like chafing, especially if you want to stay in that outfit for a long stretch of time. Maybe like we did today, where we went on one water ride and then the next and the next. Now, you guys saw my outfit from earlier, but I'm just wearing like bike shorts. I do have a pocket in here, but these are just, they're staying put, you know, they're not riding up or anything like that. And yes, they are sopping wet. So I don't have to worry about chafing or anything like that you might have to worry about if you're wearing looser fitting clothes. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're a guy, obviously this isn't really the fashion choice for you, but you can wear running shorts underneath your shorts. That might help as well. Of course, if this isn't an issue that you have to worry about, then it's not an issue you have to worry about. But now you have some options available. Last but not least, we have to talk about footwear. Now look, this is one that, again, we kind of talked about earlier because I said that I do wear Chuck Taylors, and yes, I do wear Chuck Taylors. They're not for everybody, but here's the thing. Neither are Crocs, neither are flip-flops. So here's what I recommend. Wear a pair of shoes that, number one, you don't mind getting wet, and number two, fit well. Just like we've said time and time again, when it comes to footwear in the theme parks, you want it to be worn in, but not worn out, whatever it is that you have on your feet, and you want it to be well fitting. That's gonna prevent things like blisters and just discomfort in general. These Chuck Tees, they're sopping wet. My socks are wet now too, but I don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna be fine. Of course, I could always change out my shoes. I could have changed out my shoes when I went on the attraction with a pair of flip-flops that I could easily stow in my bag and then change back into these. I can change my socks out. Like, there are a ton of different options available, but if you go with something that's like junky shoes that you don't care if they get ruined, which isn't a bad idea as long as they're not too junky. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna cause blisters, it's gonna cause you to be uncomfortable, and it's gonna just impact your whole vacation. So shoes that are worn in, not worn out, you don't mind them getting wet, and yeah, always pack an extra pair of shoes for your vacation anyway, because I'll tell you what, as wet as my shoes are today, they've gotten so much wetter just being caught in a rainstorm here in Florida, so yeah, take that for what it's worth. All right, and with that, our day here is done. We did all the water rides. Oh. I hope you had a good time and that you enjoyed kind of checking these rides out with me and watching me get completely soaking wet. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And you know, I hope that this showed you that you can let loose a little. Do these water rides, you know? Have a little bit of fun. Who cares if you get a little wet? You can wring yourself out. But anyway, I want to know if you've been on any of these rides here at Universal or at Walt Disney World, what you thought, what are your favorites, which ones you could do without. Tell me all about it in a comment down below. But for now, I think I'm going to make my way out, keep sipping on my drink, and towel myself off once I get back to the Jeep so I'm a little less soggy for the ride home. I hope that sounds good to you. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, bye.